Welcome, one and all. My name is Anna Lempriere. I work for the Cornwall Memory Cafe Network, supporting carers and people living with dementia to access services, make referrals, and really help them find a way to get more support. This is part of Disability Cornwall, and we've decided to create this podcast interviewing experts and people with lived experience on dementia to be able to share all sorts of interesting and informative and supportive information. So sit back and enjoy, and also share the podcast with your friends. It's relaxed and inclusive and welcoming, and thank you for listening. Welcome, everybody. It is such a pleasure to be here again with the glorious, beautiful lady, Grania McKittrick, who is the outreach and development lead for Lorenzo's house. And she supports and is creating and making this wonderful virtual space, which is supporting families who are living with living with young onset dementia. So it's very, very special and greatly needed support and offering. We're going to hear lots about it. So thank you so much for your time, Grania. And my name's Anna Lempriere, for those of you that don't know me. And I am the podcast host for the Cornwall Memory Cafe Network, a network of over 40 memory cafes across Cornwall, supporting people and their loved ones with dementia. And we interview all sorts of incredible human beings, people with lived experience and experts, sharing all the amazing things that are going on out there in Cornwall and beyond. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Grania, and tell us all about Lorenzo's house.
Oh, thank you. So nice to meet you, Anna, and thank you for creating this whole community in Cornwall to support families affected by young onset. I feel like it's so important, firstly, to connect with partners who are recognizing and seeing families, and then also supporting them in any way possible. My name's Grania, as Anna introduced me. I'm the outreach and development lead at Lorenzo's house. And first and foremost, we are a charity, a non-profit that supports and empowers families, especially the sons and daughters of those affected by young onset. And we always say young onset is those who show symptoms before the age of 65, because we recognize that the journey to a diagnosis and after a diagnosis can be so complicated and complex that we always say it's showing symptoms before the age of 65. And we support families of any form of dementia. And we say we do this through two different ways. We do three things in two different ways. In our short film, which we'll share in a minute, we'll delve a little bit more into our founding story. But we heal in community and we advocate for dementia justice, because we are here to wrap our arms around families, but also raise awareness for our families and raise awareness about young onset. So can you see my slides, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So a little bit more about our background. This is Diana and her beautiful family, the Coast family. Lorenzo's house was founded in Chicago in 2021 after Diana's husband started showing signs of brain change when her kids were 9 and 13. And her being from this entrepreneurial background of setting up schools in Chicago, she turned around and said, well, where's the support for myself and my children? And she always uses this quote of saying young onset dementia is a diagnosis of the family because of its far-reaching impact. It doesn't just impact the person living with or the care partner, but can have a long-lasting effect on the children and the young people. So when she looked for support locally, nationally, and internationally, there was resources that were far and few between. And so using her entrepreneurial mindset, she said, well, if there isn't anything, I need to create something. So Lorenzo's house was founded in 2021 out of her son's bedroom with a mission to empower families of young onset and really build a community for them so that they can unite together and heal together in a way. And so I'm going to share, if it's okay, Anna, a short
Yes.
film, which fingers crossed, I'm not the most tech savvy, so hopefully it will play. And can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
The sorrow and the suffering can be so great that I almost can't get out of it when I think about what's happening to my husband. It's like this grief that repeats itself every day. And I know that if I sit in it too long, I might not get up. So I get up and I choose living, and that's what he would want. We got lucky with love. We met the night I moved to Chicago. And today, some 30 years later, we have true love, two beautiful and brave sons, a loving little dog we named Desmond Tutu, our little archbishop. And we have what I call this diagnosis of the family.
My dad was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And so since then, things kind of changed with a big change in dynamic, especially being in high school at the time. My brother was in middle school. So it was a big change to kind of go from having him care for us to us caring for him. He was a really fun guy who would always play with me and my brother, and he was always so kind to everyone around him. You could walk into a room and become friends with anyone. He was super smart, someone told the smartest guy in the room, and just loved talking to people, meeting new people.
My husband is love. He is kind, so kind. He just radiates this kindness, humble and a listener, the kind of listener that leans in. He's a man of such integrity, affectionate and handsome, and such a gentleman. He has this soft ping on his phone, and it pings a couple times a day. It used to ping a couple times a day. And I asked, what is that for? And he said, oh, baby, that's a reminder to forgive, forgive self and others and the world, and just start again. And that's the kind of goodness, my husband brings this world. Sharing deep conversations about all kinds of topics was something we loved. And it seemed like almost overnight, we weren't having those conversations anymore. When I think back on the behaviors prior to the diagnosis, which for us showed up, a few years prior, all those behaviors make sense now. The culture in our home changed. This diagnosis can suck the joy out of a home because it brings on these complicated behaviors. And for us, those, first showed up as dad detaching from his sons.
Essentially, everything needs to be done for him. Eating, making breakfast, making lunch, making dinner, that's all been having to be done for him for years now. But I'd say now, just basic things like putting clothes on, getting into bed, getting out of bed, sitting down in a chair. Pretty much everything needs to be explained to him thoroughly. Every 10 seconds, I'd say, that's about his span right now. I think the biggest thing is just I can't have a conversation with him anymore. Losing that, I think, is really a lot, because even though he's there and he's still talking, I can't comprehend what he's saying. So it's kind of like an extra thing for us.
The progression was very aggressive. And as a younger family, we were completely caught off guard. Younger onset cases are a sizable niche. Over 4 million people worldwide are living with younger onset dementia, with a reported 200% uptick. Yet the stigma is thick and layered. Dementia is not just an older person's condition. Hundreds and thousands of us are here, and we are unseen, misunderstood, undiagnosed, misdiagnosed. We need a place to find each other.
That's why we need to raise awareness about young onset Alzheimer's, because they don't have a place to go. They feel incredibly alone. No one understands. People don't understand them. People don't believe them. So many times we need to write letters of advocacy because their church or their community or their neighborhood needs proof that, hey, they have a cognitive impairment because they're acting differently than we expect.
We typically think of Alzheimer's disease as a disease of older people, and it is. But if the symptoms begin before the age of 65, which is, again, uncommon for Alzheimer's, typical Alzheimer's disease, that's considered younger onset.
Every family, every person absorbs this news differently. For me, I was in full denial, convinced that we were going to be the first family to beat Alzheimer's. I realized quickly that while there were a few really smart resources for families living with younger onset, they were few and far between. And still there was virtually nothing for our sons. My career has been in urban education. For the past 25 years, I served as co-founder and president of a network of public schools, all on the south side of Chicago. And now life has me on this new path. And I thought maybe I could use my experience to make a difference and fill a care and connection gap in this new space.
His name was Larry, but in our house we called him Lorenzo. And therefore the concept of Lorenzo's house came up with.
After my first connection with Lorenzo's house, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulder, truthfully. I have met so many beautiful people, and they're also navigating this difficult journey with grace, and we just help each other tremendously.
Our tagline at Lorenzo's house is "We bring light." And the idea is that we are shifting the narrative. Our audacious goal is to unite every daughter, son, and their family affected by younger onset dementia. We are shifting the narrative. No longer isolated, we are now healing in community, and we are advocating for dementia justice. A world where we are normalizing conversations and dismantling misperceptions, changing the way society thinks and responds to dementia. It's time, and with our daughters and sons as our compass, we can do this. Our virtual model is designed exclusively for the daughters, sons, and their families of younger onset dementia. Our 3 pillar programs include our match, our clubs, and our summit. Our match is a one-on-one care partner to care partner connection with a peer who understands.
My connection with Robin was an instant relief. Someone my age that knew what I was going through without even having to explain my whole story. Our stories were so similar, and knowing that I can call or text someone in a moment of celebration, concerning grief, sadness, and happiness, and they'll pick up and just get it without having to give all the extra pieces and information that's needed to truly understand the impact of those situations. It's like nothing I could have ever imagined and that I could ever find. The light in our matches, knowing that I'm not alone in this journey.
Our clubs are virtual spaces to find community, share insights, and learn care techniques. We host monthly light clubs for our youth. We host a brunch and a lounge for our care partner spouses. And our Shine On session is a space to navigate loss after a loved one has passed.
After Light Club, I feel calm, relaxed, and ready for the rest of my day. Light Club helps me to think deeply. I listen and share, and it gives me a place where I can discuss my dad's condition and get tips and ideas from other kids that would make life easier. It is a good place. Everyone shares similar experiences, and we can all relate to each other.
When I was 10, I found a light. The Light Club has helped me learn how to show light to my dad and how to cope with all of my stress and emotions.
I think one of the best parts of Light Club was learning from young people at different stages of the journey, and being surprised by things that we're worried and scared about may actually surprise us as being a moment that brings us closer to our loved one. But then also a powerful moment within Light Club was realizing we all have very similar questions that sometimes aren't asked. And this idea that we can come together and try and answer them or figure out what resources there are to answer.
Our annual summit is a worldwide virtual youth event designed and led by the daughters and sons of younger onset. It's a space to find community, to learn, to heal, to advocate, and to elevate the collective wisdom of our young people.
Me and my mom were out to lunch one day. We brought this camp idea, and the camp is to bring kids like me and my brother who have a parent with Alzheimer's together and have them connect with one another.
Hi everyone, my name is Jalen and I am honored to be Lorenzo's House Youth Lead for Lorenzo's Youth Summit. As a daughter to a father living with younger onset dementia, I understand how isolating and complicated things can be and how hard it is to find peers who understand. Our free virtual worldwide event unites the daughters and sons of younger onset dementia. Together, we create a space to heal in community and advocate for dementia justice. We share lived experience and build lifelong connections. We amplify our collective wisdom and create a more informed and empathetic world.
It's a way to give these kids support in a community of other kids also going through the same thing. And so that if they're having a hard day, they can reach out to someone in the camp who knows exactly what they're going through and have someone to talk to about it.
What Lorenzo's House is doing is really incredible, and Diana has just made tremendous bounds with this program already.
We are growing faster than we imagined because we are so needed. As a global citizen and justice activists, to know that our work is garnering trust from families and respect from experts in the field across state lines and country borders is incredibly inspiring. There's real movement in dementia at Lorenzo's House, and it's being led by younger families with lived experience. Innovation is happening here.
I am determined to make meaning of all of this. My guy, who is such a gentle, spiritual soul, you know, a man of so much goodness and light, you know, my Lorenzo is now walking so bravely every day. And while his condition is slowly taking him from us, I feel compelled to stand up and to fight back and to respond as boldly as I know how. And maybe we can turn all of this sorrow and this story into something that heals. I've had the privilege of connecting with so many lovely people, you know, and it's when we get connected, I find, and we get to tell pieces of our story that we begin to kind of put ourselves back together a little bit. And we share a bond as care partner families, like warrior-like families, really, who are showing up every day with crazy love and crazy strength, and also so much sacrifice and sorrow. And so we have stories to tell, and Lorenzo's House will be a platform to tell our story as a way to heal. So it's time to build. There is a lot of work to do. And I believe that when we build and design and scale, that we need to access the voices of people who are walking the journey. Care partner families, professionals in the field, allies, donors, and friends, please bring light with Lorenzo's House. Stay close. We need you. When I first imagined Lorenzo's House, I wanted to do something for my husband, you know, in honor of him. And now, hopefully, it's going to be for families everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it almost brings tears to my eyes every time I watch it. But yeah, it just kind of gives you a glimpse of one family story and how she founded it out of her son's bedroom and has turned it into this international organization just to unite families, because she recognized that actually there were families in the UK that started to reach out and go, oh, well, are you just American based, or do you support families everywhere? And actually our family community in the UK has just grown exponentially over the last year. And you know, it shows in our numbers of we're serving over 2,500 families in 16 countries, and predominantly the US and the UK. And I think it is this part of this virtual aspect of being able to connect with people. And as she mentioned, we have 3 programs, and as I told you last time we met, Anna, like one of our programs is our match program. And in a bit more detail, our match program connects one-to-one care partner to care partner connection. So say you have someone living in St. Ives, and you have someone living in, give me another town in Cornwall area.
Helston?
Helston, yeah, there you go. And they both are caring for their husbands, and both their husbands have a diagnosis of FTD or Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. We will connect with them, have a 40-minute lighthouse call, which is just to get to know them on a one-to-one basis. And it tends to be when they walk through our virtual doors, they're met with someone who has already walked this journey before. So they're a trained volunteer who is already part of our community, and we will match them up with someone who is either got a similar partner or parent with a similar diagnosis, or they live in a similar geographical area. And the other month we matched people up and they live 10 minutes away from each other, and they'd never met anyone like you've probably experienced. They've never met anyone who has similar experiences and journeys, because young onset is such a unique journey and can bring so many different challenges, financial struggles, primary care partner, and often with younger children, your responsibilities quadruple overnight. And as you're trying to navigate, the changes in life anyway, and especially as a young person. So our match program kind of runs itself, and it's incredible to see just the power of having one other person, even if it's a phone call or a text or hopefully a coffee in person, to be able to know that there's someone that you don't have to explain yourself to. They completely understand you. So that's our match program. And our clubs, as you heard, are virtual hangout spaces for anyone aged 4 to 35 plus. And our 4 to 7-year-olds, they're really just a place to learn about brain change and learn about what dementia is as a young person, because where in school do you learn about dementia? And then our 8 to 12-year-olds, really a space to connect with others. They just want to be kids. They want to let their imagination run wild, play games. And then our 13 to 17-year-old groups, they're really starting to recognize that they might not bring friends back home, because how do you explain to your friend what might be happening with mum and dad, and why they might be acting a bit odd today and not the other day? So we're really trying to advocate for these young people to speak up and tell that one friend, or maybe it's your footy coach, or maybe it's your swimming coach, like what's happening at home, and what brain change and what dementia is and what young onset dementia is. So then you're not only advocating for yourself, but you might be advocating for another kid further down the line. And then our 18 plus group really is a space to share resources, share tips. And as Will said in that video, he really had these somewhat, almost bad thoughts. And he was like, I'm such a bad person for having them about like my mom or my dad. And actually, when he went in there and expressed it, the amount of other kids who went, oh no, I felt like that, I've thought that, and the relief you can feel from just knowing that you're not a bad person, these are normal thoughts, really like destigmatizing young onset. And then our youth summit, and our youth summit is coming up next week, which is bonkers to hear. But yeah, on June 20th and 21st, for any young person, any son or daughter of young onset, whether you're navigating this journey with your parent now, or your loved one has passed, there is a space for you. All of our sessions are co-designed and co-led by young people. So you can come on Friday or Saturday, pick and choose what sessions you can pop into this one, and it's only for sons and daughters from around the world. So last year we had 200 young people from 17 countries. This year we're close to 300. I know it kind of blows my mind every time I say it. And that's happening next week. So we
need to get this podcast out.
I love it. Yeah, the time frame is very short, but I've just shared on the screen, if anyone can see it, ways that you can sign up to our youth group. So, if there is anyone out there that you know of that's a family with young people that are interested in, I always find it a nicer way to start integrating if they're a bit nervous to chat to a stranger online. this way they can keep their camera off, they can keep their mic off, they can just attend, listen,
Yeah.
and if they want to input, they can. Yeah.
So you're going to share with us all the links that we can have in the show notes. People can reach out via an email to see, you know, what the steps are, how they can be connected, to have that kind of discovery call as well.
Yes.
There's so much little baby steps that can be taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think like it's important to recognize that it takes so much courage to reach out for support. Like, and also we recognize that, you know, we're virtual, so we have a lot of resources such as yourselves, you know, like if they come through our doors and they're looking for a specific thing, we have so many partner organizations that, you know, depending on where they are, what they're looking for, we can also supply you with so many other resources, because finding support is a full-time job, and where you're trying to navigate everything else. So just having a friendly face to know, you know, we're always here.
Yeah.
If anyone ever wants to chat or
Wow. What an incredibly inspirational charity, non-for-profit. It's not a charity, it's a non-for-profit. I mean, I just wanted to say I loved the language that you used, care partner. I think that's really useful and inspirational language, a care partner. I hear myself and lots of people calling the care partner a loved one or your loved ones, which is great, but I also think care partner is great language, and we're human race is learning new ways of expressing itself, and I think that was really great. And just what an offering, and what a really inspirational offering and community space for people, for young people, to be able to be connected with other young people so that they just feel like they're not isolated, and that they've got learning, insight, but also, like you were saying, sometimes it's not even about that. It's just socializing as well.
Exactly. And like you say, right, language is so important. And I recently spoke to two young people and they hate the word carer. And I don't use the word hate very often, but because they don't identify themselves as carers, but how else do you identify them? So we recognize that language is so important, and calling yourself a loved one, because sometimes people see it as a duty and other times it is the roles can shift so often, you know, especially as an informal family member who's taking care of a loved one with young onset. The roles shift. So we recognize that language is so important and so different for every family. But yeah,
but you can actually choose consciously how you want to express your setup and how you feel. And yeah, I just think care partner was really, I'm going to train my brain to
I like that.
learn
Train your
that.
brain.
Really
Like
train my brain. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Well, if I can just share, if anyone does want to join our newsletter or sign up to our youth summit or screenshot it and send it to a young person or anyone interested, they're more than welcome to. And obviously, Anna, I'll send you all of the links to our youth summit, all of our clubs. Our international, like our light club for UK families is every third Wednesday between 6 and 7 p.m. So it's after school or, you know, after work or before dinner, hopefully.
And Grania, can you press play on the slide so we can see the slide full?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Then we can see it a bit.
There we go.
Oh, perfect. And maybe, I don't know if you scroll up or how that works.
Then you can, like this, these are 8 ways that you can get involved with Lorenzo's house. Our first and foremost is connect us with young people, families of YOD, or at least let people know that we exist and we're here to support them so they're not alone walking this journey. If you're a partner and expert, it's so important to raise awareness and learn about young onset. So collaborate with us. We're always looking for experts in the field. Follow us on social media with a expand our reach so we can reach more young people. Of course, being a charity, donate to our mission, volunteer with us. You can always be a volunteer in any capacity, either welcoming families or spreading our awareness. And a bit like this, where we showed you our short film, you're welcome to host a short screening of our short film with us and sign up to our inspiring newsletter, Light the Way, which happens
I've just joined you on Insta.
Oh, love that. There we go. There's one person. Yeah, our newsletter sends out every quarter, and we always have family stories, like empowering family stories, new program updates, and it's kind of interactive. We always have mindfulness as part of our sessions. So we have a minute of mindfulness that's always led by a young person in our newsletter.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And as I say, all the links and how to get in contact we'll add to the show notes. Grania, it's been such a pleasure and really grateful and inspired with this amazing community interest project. So needed globally. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you, Anna.
This video was produced by Discover Voices, part of Disability Cornwall and Isles of Scilly. To check out all of our content, simply search Discover Voices on YouTube.